Hi, welcome back. This is Sheila Wolk, and we're sitting here looking at my book, Sheila Woke Without Fantasy, There Is No Dream. And today I wanted to read one of my poems to you that I made to go with this painting, Eternity, and explain to you how I came about with what I came about doing. Okay, so here we go. Eternity. On page 64 and 65 for those who own the book. And for those of you who don't, welcome aboard. So here's my poem, Eternity. Eternity in fields of green, circles sorrows in between, rainbow colors juxtaposed, which trickles free the blush of rose, while luring peace to hover near, it blankets night to exile fear. Sanctuary doth embrace, seas of dreams in corals lace. Quietly it pillows round, coveting the beauty found. And there you are, and that's Eternity. So it was a very complicated piece, as you can see. I don't know if I can zoom out or not. And with this piece, I was in such a rush to, let me extend this little tripod a little bit. I was in such a rush to get it done for a show that we had to take photographs of it on a large DPI scale, high res, before I finished it and had it framed and let it go to the show. This was years ago. This painting has been sold since. Anyway, what happened was, it wasn't really finished when the photographers got here, but like I said, I was in such a rush that there was more to this piece than what meets the eye. And right here I'm zooming in, where you see her seashell, and she's sleeping in her bed in the coral. And yet I'm going to show you this real quick. I did a blow-up section. Well, first, this is the entire painting, okay? So, for the show. But on the next page, oops, I wanted to show you that I took a regular camera when it was finished. Let me see if I can zoom in. And I added some fish floating around her tail and around in the coral. So why did I add the fish? What made me make up my mind to do that? For the reason being that it's very difficult to paint water. You have to suggest water. So the suggestion was, it wasn't fluid enough for me when I was doing the painting. And by adding the fish swimming, you knew for sure it was water. So, I don't know why that's not in focus. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here we go. So you can see that the fish are swimming around in the coral around her. And when I paint fish and I study them, I always try to remember when I'm painting and drawing the direction of the fish, to remember that doing the fish is like painting a ballet. They swim a certain distance away from each other. Certain groups stay together in the anemone. It's hard to say that word for me, especially being dyslexic. Here they are, oops, too close, in the anemone. Some clownfish, regular fish, coral fish, and there she is. So what did I mean by the poem Eternity in Fields of Green? That's all the coral, circle sorrows in between. It's the quietness. The sorrow is the quietness of the ocean. Rainbow colors juxtaposed, which trickles free the blush of rose. These are the rainbow colors of the seashell. While luring peace to hover near. So she's about to drowse off into a deep sleep. It blankets night to exile fear. She's feeling very safe in her nest. And sanctuary doth embrace. She's alone, but she's very comfortable. Seas of dreams in coral's lace. Her blanket is the coral, all the coral. Quietly it pillows around. As you can see, here we go with the circle, as I explained before in my other paintings. Some of the elements of when you're designing a painting. Quietly it pillows around, coveting the beauty found. So here it all covets her, the mermaid, while she's asleep. And as you can see, the last minute details are very important. Believe it or not, some of the best things of a painting can be your very last decisions to do one little thing, to tweak it. So here I took the anemone and I tucked it around and hugged her into, you know, her little blanket of coral, and the little fish are tucking her in, which is, I think, is so cute. So removing that, and we're back to the book. Here's the painting. Now we did crop it, of course, made it full spread, and like I said, it's missing the little fish, which is okay. It was complete. I thought it was complete this way until I added the fish at the last minute, but it's a pity I didn't have the proper resolution when I did the book. Okay, so then, like I told you before, I do merchandising of my paintings. And here is a little trinket box I did with a company named Kings Point. And this was years ago. It was about 11 years ago. And beautifully done. I detached the magnets in this because the magnets are really, really, really heavy. In fact, they're opposing teams right now for me when I have people come over to the studio and they're looking at my merchandise and we're talking business. I like to get on with it. And so sometimes I purposely will unhinge certain things like these magnets because when you buy it, it's really on there. Anyway, here's the little trinket box holding eternity, and here they told me it was impossible to do, and I said nothing is impossible when you have an artist working with you. So we tried to do the sculpting. Oh, by the way, each one comes with a little necklace. Oops, it looks like coral, doesn't it? So each one comes with a pretty little charm, and here's the little eternity. I'll put that down here. And when we tried to do the sculpting of eternity on the bottom, it became too heavy, too round, and then there was nothing really left exciting on the top. So I said, reverse it. And then they said, oh my God, it'll work that way. So we did eternity, and there she is in her coral's bed. And I had them sculpt the little fish in there. They said no, they couldn't do it. And I said, yes, you can. And they did. Never accept no in the beginning. And then the bottom was so empty to hold the little necklace and the charm that I said, add some fish. So, and that's exactly what we did. And these are made of beautiful metal. And it's all enameled. And on the bottom, I mean, that's the top. And the bottom has my name. Oh gosh, I can't zoom in too close with this camera. I see I might have to get a different one. My name is sculpted into the bottom. Comes with a gorgeous box and a letter of authenticity. I do sell these in my store along with the book. And enameled, and they are Swarovski crystals inlaid in the top. And there's even a little crystal in the mermaid's tail in the charm. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, so yeah, we have products of these too. This is not by Pacific. This is by a place called Kings Point. And there you go. There's Eternity. So I thought I'd share that with you because it's such a pretty little piece. This, oops, little box. But here we go. That's the story about eternity in the poem. And I'm glad you stopped by page 64 and 65 of my book. And then now what I have to do is thank you for visiting again. And I'll speak to you later. So this is Sheila Wolk signing off till I open up another page and read it to you. And have a good night.